What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to Leafs After Dark. I am Zack Phillips, and today we're coming to you in probably the worst possible way that we could here to start off the postseason. Not only are we starting down this series against the Boston Bruins 0-1, but we came out in possibly the most pathetic way that you could have imagined here tonight. This is the way that all Leafs fans everywhere basically were looking at and saying, just don't do that in game one. Don't come out and lay an egg and be pathetic in the first game. And that is exactly what happened here tonight. You lose 5-1, and you could lose 5-1 on any given night and at least show up and feels like, hey, they were in it, they were there. But you know what? I looked around and I saw William Nylander wasn't playing tonight. I wasn't aware of the fact that Mitch Marner and John Tavares also weren't playing here tonight. I talked about countless times, whether it was on the post-game streams here, if it was on the game previews, if it was with Rosie and Nick on the show the other day, I said, you know what? I think that this team is the best prepared team or best built team that we have when it comes to playoffs and their ability to have some type of success this year. But at the end of the day, nothing was going to matter. Bertuzzi, Domi, McCabe, Benoit, Edmondson, none of it fucking matters if guys like Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and John Tavares don't show up to play. And that's what happened here tonight. It felt like at the end of the game, those guys weren't even out there. And it felt like they might as well not have been, because we probably would have got the exact same result. Watching the way that this game went down, watching the end results of this game, watching the way that this team showed up in the second period after you got by the skin of your teeth to come out of the first period down by only one goal. It was a sloppy first period. It was a broken first period where you came out and you were lucky on the road in Boston to kind of sit here and go, you know what? It's only one goal. We were not together. We weren't stringing together passes. We weren't able to get offensive opportunities at the rate that you would like. You couldn't make things consecutive. You couldn't hold pressure. And yet you walked away from it down only one out of the first period in game one in Boston. In Boston, you went on the road and you were against the Boston Bruins, a team that was well prepared for you to be there. And you were down one. You had an opportunity to start to show up at the beginning of the second period, because at the end of the first, it started to get back to the direction that you'd want it to be, where it's a little bit together. There were offensive opportunities. We had some offensive zone time. Things started to build, and I started to sit there and build up this hope that I'd be building as we got to the playoffs. And I kept thinking, you know what? I'm not going to do it. All year, I kept thinking, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get hope. I'm not going to get hope. And then as the season went on, I said, okay, maybe that there's a chance. Maybe when we get there to the postseason, this is a team that could do it. And I kept thinking that would be the case. And then just like how I did for 82 games this season, as I got to the end of the year and I built up that hope inside of me and started to think, I can do it. This team can do it. We can get there. You turn around and you slap the Leafs fans in the face and say, why would you ever have any belief in us? Because we are who you thought we were. You don't show up when it mattered the most. Look, there's many more games potentially in this series. If you play like you did tonight, I'll tell you what. We'll be done this stream. We'll be done the post game. We'll be done all of this stuff Saturday night, because that'll be the last game this team plays in the 2023-2024 season. If you fucking play like that again, you cannot do that. You cannot show up in a year like this with all this riding on you and put forth an effort like that in the first game. You just can't. You're 2-6 in your career in the Matthews era in game ones when it comes to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Everyone in the world, everyone knows you stink in first games. I don't know why. Maybe it has to do with the whole Mike Babcock start on time stuff. Maybe this group just never adapted. Maybe this group was just never able to figure it out. Regardless of what the situation is, at some point here, maybe learn those lessons, the lessons that you talk about every time you come onto the media or talk to the media. Every time you lose a bad game, you blow a lead, you lose a series, you tell us, we learned lessons. Well, now you're 2-7 in the Matthews era in first games of series. And it's not just getting unlucky. It's not just going into games and the bounces aren't there. It's getting shit pumped. It's getting embarrassed. It's getting blown out of buildings. What are you doing to have this happen and to not be ready for the first game that you go in every single time? That's what I'm not understanding here. You tell us you learn lessons. You make $11.5 million. You make $13.5 million. You fought for this money that you say you deserve this money, and then you turn around in the time of year where every other player in the league that is making that kind of money, deserving that kind of money, they show up. Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, these guys, they are there when it matters the most. Even if Boston hasn't had success, you know who's unbelievable in the playoffs? David Pastrnak. Like, these guys show up when it matters. And then I'm not going to accuse them of not caring. I don't think that's fair. Rosie will be joining us at some point here during tonight's stream to talk about what's going on and talk about this game here tonight. He might not be as livid as I am or as pissed off as I am about this one. He's going to hop on. If other people in the chat want to call in here as well, you guys send a message. I'm happy to hear from you. I'm happy to hear your thoughts on tonight's game as well. You can send those in there. I want to hear you. I want to read the chat. I want to see what's going on. This is not just me yelling at the screen. This is not just Rosie jumping in here and giving thoughts as well. This is a fan show. We're going to take opinions and thoughts from everybody, but this is a pathetic way to start this series, and I don't think that there's any other way to put this. I am definitely going a little bit insane when it comes to what's happening tonight. I'll give you that, and when we talk about Game 2, it's going to be, it could potentially be like, well, the series is 1-1. And the thing I will admit to here, where I will say this, and we'll talk about it as the show goes on 100%, because we're only 8 minutes in. We got a long way to go before we wrap this one up for sure. It's game by game. One of my buddies, Stone, he was texting me tonight during the game. He's just as pissed off as I was, but the kind of conversation that we had towards the end of it, where we left off, was like, you know what? This is one game. This is one game, and the way Stanley Cup playoffs work is it's your series, your season. It's not defined by one game. We have that benefit over an NBA play-in game or the MLB first game, wildcard games that these guys play, where it's just one and done before you get to the actual playoffs. We have this benefit of 7 games. That's why this is one of the hardest trophies in sports to win. That being said, when you show up the way the reason I am so frustrated, the reason I think you guys in the chat are going to be so frustrated with the results of this one as well, is because this is not one game. This is not tonight. This is not an isolated incident. This is 9 years. 9 years of a sample. That's a large sample size, ladies and gentlemen. That's a big sample. I'm sick of lessons. I'm sick of maturing. I'm sick of trying to grow and figure things out. Fucking show up. Show up. Why do I have to watch John Tavares be effectively invisible and losing battles and not being in it? Why do I have to watch Mitch Marner standing in the neutral zone, making cross-ice, no-look, knee-high saucer passes from his backhand to nobody? Year after year after year after year, you would think at some point you might come to the realization this is the Stanley Cup playoffs and you can't do bullshit like that. If this was one game and this was one time and we only saw this for the first time, I think that this would be something I would sit here and think to myself, it's okay. It happened once. We're good. It happened once. You learn, you move on. It's not once, guys. This is a long, long time of watching this team do this over and over and over again. This is so frustrating to have to experience year after year. I'm sitting here watching Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day over and over again of this group putting out the same performances and showing up the same way. Let's get to a couple super chats here. We're going to have Rosie joining us at some point here during the show to help break this one down. Maybe calm me down, talk me off the ledge. I don't know. Maybe talk you guys off the ledge. We'll see how this one goes. If you're watching right now, there are nearly 500 people watching. Thank you guys who are watching. Thanks to everyone who's dealing. This is a Leafs therapy session. Look, if you're new to me, you're new to the channel, whatever it is, you're new to the show, just a brief rundown of who I am and what the show is. I am not an expert. I will never claim to be that. We break things down. We have incredible guests here to help us, whether it is people from the Leafs Nation hopping in to talk things through, whether it is other fans calling into the show, giving their thoughts and their opinions. That's what it is. It's a reaction show. It's raw emotion, talking about everything that went down, trying to figure it out as a group, trying to figure it out together as a fan base. But the thing I will tell you is this. We do some other fucked up stuff, but we do one really fucked up thing here on the show. Every 50 likes on the stream, we do smelling salts. There's 500 people watching. Do the math. You guys hit like enough, there will be a lot of smelling salts here tonight on the show, and we will have Jay Rosehill here to help us break this down. But let's start. We got super chats to go, and we got our first set of 50 likes, so just wanted to give a precursor about what was about to happen and why I was about to do this. Thanks everyone who hit the like button. Keep hitting like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. No reason we can't get to 10K subs by the end of playoffs. Even if it's Saturday, get those numbers up. Here, cheers to the smelling salts. Hit the like button. Thank you, everyone. All right, there you go. First round done. Let's get to a couple of super chats here that we've got. I don't want to leave people hanging. So first super chat. First super chat. We will add audio to these. That's on me. Have not been able to add these myself yet. So apologies. Audio will be added to the super chats. First, Maxentius Decimus. Murray, please. Look, Max, I think that's a concerning thought to be sitting here right now after game one and asking for Matt Murray, but you're not the first person. I will say that, as shocking as it may be to people out there, you're not the first person who has asked for Matt Murray here tonight. I had texts, I had people reaching out to me saying, you think Matt Murray might go, you think Matt Murray might be in this one. At some point, look, I was joking about it early on. It's gone to a point where I'm starting to feel like we actually might see Matt Murray. Who knows? I don't know where Sheldon Keefe's patience level is going to be with these goaltenders. I'm concerned about where Sheldon Keefe's patience level is going to be with the offense. You watch a game like this tonight where you see one goal scored by your team, and it was by your fourth line. It's by Ryan Reeves and Connor Dewar creating pressure down low. A beautiful pass. Let's not take away from what it was. A beautiful pass by Connor Dewar out front to David Kampf, who buries in the empty net. But that's your lone goal. And then the main takeaway from people is like, where was Marner? Where was Tavares? What did the second line do tonight? That's concerning. And now, I mean, you just even look at Samsonov's numbers. 826. Guess what? I don't care how good or bad this team was tonight, and I don't care how good or bad the group was or how many chances they created or didn't create, whatever. 826 save percentage ain't getting it done, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to win you shit in the playoffs. It's not going to win you series, and it's certainly not winning you game by game by game. You're not winning a cup with that. You got to be better. 4 goals, 19 saves from Ilya Samsonov tonight. That's not good enough. I feel like we might see Joseph Woll at some point, quick. And then obviously Martin Jones is third on that chart, but if they say Martin Jones isn't going to go, then yeah, we might see Matt Murray. Like I was joking, we might see him. He's with the Marlies, he's been going. We might see Matt Murray. I've been having nightmares here trying to break this down and try to talk about everything that's been going on with this team and trying to figure out whether or not we're going to be okay, if they can rebound. I absolutely flipped out to start the show here, but it's just a concerning thing when you watch this team do this over and over and over again, regardless of what could happen going forward, because starting game one this way, no matter what, is always going to give people some nightmares. And I feel like that's where we're at kind of starting here tonight. So I told you that we were going to have a guest on the show tonight. I lost my marbles to start. I'm interested to see where he's at, because there's a possibility he's going to say, Zach, it's all right. Let's calm down. Things could be okay going forward, but welcome to the show. For the first time during the playoffs, game 1 here, Jay Rosehill. Rosie, how's it going, buddy?
Zack, step away from the ledge. I tune in and I hear Matt Murray's name. Holy
And that was the
smokes,
chat. That was the chat.
we're down the rabbit hole, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, that is not the result that we desired. There's no doubt about that. And if you didn't watch the game, you look at the box score and you say, what the hell happened? And you go to Twitter and you just tear the thing down to the studs.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm okay with the compete level that they came with. I'm happy with their intensity, with their tenacity, with their grit, with their compete level, with their energy level. Not one goddamn thing went their way tonight. And I know they rattled some posts off. I know they scored that first goal. I was sitting there with some my brother was watching with me, and they were just peppering them to start the game, chance after chance. Like there it is, there it is, and they are scrambling. We're in the offensive zone. We have chances, we have shots, and I said, watch, this is what they do though. They're gonna pepper them. They're not gonna beat Swayman, and it'll just be like some like out of the blue odd man rush, and we'll be down 1-0. 2 minutes later, that's exactly what happened. Nothing went their way, but I mean, it wasn't one of those typical Leaf losses where you just want to pull your hair out.
I will agree with the effort level. I didn't have a problem with effort level here tonight. Is it not concerning though to you? Like I think the thing that I was most frustrated with when I jump on here for the first time and at least just get going right away is like I just like it felt like the Marner Tavares group, that second line. Maybe I'm just coming into this as well with a predetermined idea of what those guys are and how frustrating it's been in the past in the playoffs. But like it just felt like they kind of were pushed into where they've been in playoffs past. Like that was what I just kept thinking about. It was like the history of it. I don't have any pushback at all on the effort. I agree. I'm just sitting there going like, man, this just feels like every other year where you walk away. You know, I see our friend Dom Lucian tweeting out the deserve to win a meter. Leafs win the deserve to win a meter. And it's like, yeah, this is what happens every year in the playoffs. At some point, the pucks have to go in the net. Like this has to be resulting in goals.
No, I know what you're saying. I mean, the deserve to win-o-meter means sweet FA, and
Right.
we know that, but it's a lot better than who was that team? Where were they? Were they scared? They played from the perimeter. They didn't engage in any activity towards the tough part of the ice. They were turnover machines. They were uninspiring. It wasn't that. And if it was that, I'd be tearing them up and down. I'd be furious. I'd say, what is this team? What are we going to do with this team? But I'm not. I'm sitting here going, we need a split. We need a split.
Yeah.
You got to come and bring the effort and get the first goal, solve Swayman, do a lot of the same things you did tonight, and just have a different result and get the split in Boston and go back to Toronto. That is the goal right now. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at the TV sometimes tonight going, this is a fucking nightmare. This is a nightmare. It is 4-0, but it's not the nightmare that I was terrified or that I would lose sleep over tonight, where they were doing all those things I just mentioned that are just grotesque that they've done in the past, they've done in the playoffs. I know Marner and Tavares and certain lines didn't stand out, but a lot of things did stood out, and I thought there was more positives in the game than there was negatives. And obviously, you look at the scoreboard, and it's like, how could that be? But it wasn't one of those losses that make you sick to your stomach thinking these guys aren't even close.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay, we got a super chat here as well, and I think that this will lead into the next thing that I want to talk about and kind of ask you about with the result of this. But we got a super chat here. I'll go to that now. So, Rosie, Max Entius Decimus here says, predictable sadness, laugh at them, are only laughing at them. It feels, I think that's the thing that's more frustrating for at least Leafs fans coming away from this. Like, you just look at the result and it's like 2-7 in first round and in game 1 of the first rounds now. You're going into these lists being like, well, it's probably another loss. 5-1 is what's the result is on the scoreboard. It just feels, I know, like, my buddies texting me during the game being like, hey, you know what, at the end of the day, the way the playoffs works is it's not, it's not soccer, it's not an aggregate, you're not carrying over 5-1 into the next one. As you're saying, we're looking for a split. But is there an element of like demoralization to this group based on what we've seen out of them each year, that it's like, hey, you go into that game, you lose that game, now you've gone into Boston, you, regardless of how you played, you got shit pumped on the scoreboard. Like, does this carry over at all with these guys?
It shouldn't, and that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't. You should hold your heads high after that game. Say not one thing went our way. There's so they could have easily been up 1-0. Then when that didn't happen, they could have easily tied it up 1-1. I mean, it just, like, when it was 4-0, I'm sitting there going, this, like, give me two bounces, give me one other thing, and I know they hit those posts and shit like that, but like so many opportunities where Austin would normally have buried that, or, Swayman's just covering post to post, and, it's bound, like, it just could have gone the other way. We were peppering them. The way we started the second period, the way we started the game was like, I was scared that the Leafs were just going to be on their heels, looking around intimidated. You're going to see Marchand just covering the gamut of the ice, wheeling, dealing shots, making them freeze the puck, making them turn it over, getting in their face, making them fucking have no answers for it. It wasn't that game. It wasn't. I know there was a little undisciplined things here and there, but like between Bertuzzi and Domi, like this team's asked for some jam in the playoffs. We out jammed them. We out hit them. We came out strong. We put them on their heels. We were out shooting them. We were out chancing them. I mean, those are just the things you're trying to do, and they fucking did them. It just didn't work, and you can dissect it till you're blue in the face on why that is, but it doesn't do any good. The bottom line is they had a pretty damn good effort. Game one, they didn't get the result, and they don't often get the game one of a series in playoffs, and that sucks. But game two is on Monday, and you got to get a split in Boston. And if you go back to Toronto with a split, you're feeling pretty good. And it's not like they have to go and reinvent the wheel and watch a million hours of video and figure out what the hell was that. It's not. You can take a lot of positives out of that game and say, listen, boys, stay on track, stay on course, bring a lot of the same shit. We're going to solve these guys. We're going to get the lead, and we're going to hold on to it, and we're going to win game two, and we're going to go home with a split. That's the attitude.
All right, well, you said blue in the face. I mean, I was blue in the face here to start the show. I think if you didn't come on, my head might have popped off, and myself going back and forth with the chat might have gotten to a place of no return with just yelling and maybe a lost voice. Well, I have another question for you about some stuff that went on here tonight, because I think you've kind of calmed me down here a little bit, at least. You've taken that back where, like, I've turned that dial down, the intensity that we came on here with. Before I can ask you this next question, we got 700 people watching. Shout out to everyone who's watching right now. We appreciate all the support here on the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're doing, frankly. It's that easy. It takes 2 seconds. You click the button. You get notified every time I go live. Game previews come out. You get notified for Leafs Morning Take with Nick and Rosie here, with Anthony Stewart hopping on, Carter Hutton. Plenty of content coming up across the channel, so you're not going to want to miss any of that. You want to be subscribed here. This is the place to get Leafs news, reactions, breakdowns, all that kind of stuff. The other thing, I've already had to do it once. I have to do it a second time here, and we're really close to having to do it a third time. If you hit the like button, I got to do smelling salts every 50 likes. I might have made a promise here, Rosie, that I could do on some other channels I was on. It might be really hard for myself on this one because we've hit 100 likes. So thanks to everyone who hit the like. I got to do the smelling salts. So
mash it.
There you go.
Mash it down. Get it in you.
All right. There we go. Rosie, the thing I want to ask you about, because I have a bad feeling that this one's going to blow up on Twitter a little bit here tonight. I don't think that this is the reason that the team lost the game. Let me get that out there right now so that people don't clip this one and throw it out and say, oh, Leafs fans again, what are they doing? What did you make of the officiating here in game one? I was kind of confused about just how they were calling the game. I'm like, I don't think it was bad, or I don't think it was in favor one way or the other and like screwing one team or the other. I just was kind of sitting here like, you're calling that? Like, that's the penalty that you're calling in that situation? Why are you taking those guys? And I'm seeing people now online being like, refs fucked us again. Refs screwed the team over. Refs took control of this game. Like, I don't know. I'm just I'm curious your position on it, because I'm not really going to complain about the refs here tonight. I just was sitting here being like, that's a penalty on both sides. I'm like, really? Why? Like, let them play.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. There's I mean, that Benoit penalty, like it's fucking game one of the first round where everyone is just throwing darts left, right, and center, just bombing away, and you let this chintzy little what he's got his stick up around his waist, and then he kind of does a little stutter step, and you throw your hand up. Very disappointing. Um, and then especially towards the end of the second, beginning of the third period. Sorry, some like if the Leafs wanted to dive and flop around, they could have drawn two more penalties, and that would have been nice. But I'm proud that they didn't. There's quite a few times there where Boston was on the power play, and I can't remember what D-man it was, but just gets pasted from behind, and his kind of head smacked in, and then another extra shot, and he kind of like battles to stay on his feet.
Yeah.
Where I watch all year long, that guy yard sails it and flops down, and oh my goodness, I had no idea this was hit hot. You know what I mean? He could have done that, and the arm probably would have gone up. Couple times I really thought that, well, you might have given us a chintzy one, though. You're probably gonna give one to Boston, a couple like blatant shots that didn't go up. I hate to nitpick, and I really hate to bring it up, even though sometimes I do, because I mean the Leaf haters are so quick to be like, "Oh my God, you guys always get screwed by the refs." But I mean, if you are watching and you're invested in the Leafs, you watch and you're just like, "Fuck, we never really get the benefit of the doubt." Like a lot of stuff gets left on us, and then the odd one where you're like, "How is that a penalty?" Gets the hand goes up. So I'm not saying that was the definitive thing on the game by any stretch, and they did take penalties that were deserved, and it's something that you got to how many power play goals did they have tonight? They had at least two. It's not really good enough. So you got to stay out of the box. I'm not saying the refs fucked us, but by no stretch did the calls go the Leafs' way tonight by any stretch of the imagination.
No. Bruins go 2 for 5 on the power play tonight. Leafs 0 for 3 on theirs. The one that really was like the one that was like head scratching to me was the Jake McCabe penalty in the third period. He gets called for that in the corner, knocks the guy down. Okay, you want to call that? That's a penalty. Fair enough. Whatever. Maybe I don't agree with it, but you called it. Fine. On the ensuing penalty kill for the Leafs, Pontus Holmberg down in the corner. Charlie McAvoy hits him while the puck is 10 feet behind McAvoy, pins him against the wall. McAvoy makes like a poke on the puck. His D partner goes and skates away with the puck, and he's standing there pinning Holmberg on the boards. Holmberg is pressed against the glass with his hands up like this, and then I think it was Connor Dewar was just freaking out at the refs about it. And I'm just like, okay, these are the things, Rosie, that I think you're talking about and Leafs fans online are freaking out about right now. But it is what it is. You battle through. All right, well, there was a couple things I think you're probably looking at here tonight, watching yourself. You probably want to come on here and get off your chest. Is there anything in particular that was really standing out to you tonight that maybe bugged you, or something that really stood out, even on the positive side? If people are probably still freaking out in the chat right now as I'm reading it, going through right now.
I mean, you go through your day and the lead up to this game, and the way they started the game, I'm watching with my brother. He doesn't watch the Leafs all the time. He's like, Jesus, they're pouring it to them. They're peppering them. We're in their zone. It's chance, turnover. Hold the line. They keep it in. They spin it. They were on their game. They came out with tenacity. You look at, obviously they were trying to send a message that, hey, we're not the Leafs to get pushed around, and F you Marchand at the opening face-off, and Domi got away with quite a few like nasty little shots, the back of the head of one of their D-men, and a couple shots on Marchand. And Marchand, he's just so smart, right? You'd think the guy was an idiot. He's not. He's either gonna be the aggressor and just make their life miserable. If you want to come after him, he's just going to pretend you don't exist, and eventually you'll take a penalty. He's smart. But I thought the way the result was so off the planet bad to what it could have been, would have been, should have been, and woulda, coulda, shoulda doesn't mean anything. I realize that the game is lost. We are down 1-0.
Yeah.
But the way the game went down, I've had so many games where I'm sitting here a half hour after the game where I'm just in shock. I'm sick to my stomach. I think it's pathetic. Who's coaching this? Where's the leadership? What is their identity? This is fucking embarrassing. I am not feeling that way right now. I'm just like, holy smokes, like I just all these shifts of momentous shifts where we just didn't beat Swayman. I mean, he looked so calm and confident and big and stretched out, and he takes care of everything down low. It's like
Yeah.
he's stretching himself across post to post. How is 5-hole not open? But he's kind of everywhere, super poised. Um, it just wasn't our night. It didn't go our way, and it's it's not it's not time to hit the panic button. It's not time to tear this down to the studs. It's not time to start questioning these contracts or what we're going to do in the summer. Like, are you fucking kidding me, guys? We're playing in Boston on Monday, and we played a like, I don't know, like how I did check out Twitter briefly before I came on here, and it's just like some of the takes are just like they're they're impossibly bad. No heart, no effort, no jam, no toughness, not a playoff team. I'm like, were you fucking watching, man?
Yeah.
They showed up. They were there. They showed that they had an identity and they were pouring it to them. Not one goddamn thing went the Leafs' way tonight. So chalk it up to that is all I'm doing. There's not enough time to sit here and bitch and moan, especially for them. You know, look at what went wrong. Like, we could have used a save. I'm curious on who's going to start in the goaltender position on Monday. Are
Well,
they
what do
going to
you
go to
do?
Woll? I would go to Woll. I just would. Not to like. I don't think it would knock Sammy down at all. Like, hey, Sammy, like, you know, show the video where he made all the saves. If I was the goaltending coach, I would have a package of highlights of him making the right saves on where he was in the right position, doing like keeping confidence.
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't lose us that game. But I mean, anytime you lose a hockey game, you're going to say, well, if our goalie made 2 more saves, we could have won that game, or it'd be a completely different story. He didn't steal the game. He wasn't fantastic. I'm not saying he's, you know, it wasn't a nightmare or anything, but let's give Woll a chance. You're just trying to find someone to get their fucking game.
Yeah.
And Sammy just didn't have his game. He hasn't had it in a little while. It's unfortunate. I mean, coming into the playoffs here, the whole Leafs roster wasn't really firing. It's disappointing that, you know, of all the highs they had at certain points in the season, that the one pivotal week where you're leading into the playoffs, they kind of shit the bed in every aspect at every position almost. Not ideal, but you're looking for that goalie that is going to find something that's going to get hot, that's going to make those big save on a time where you think, oh no, we just gave one. Oh no, he keeps us in it. Does it again the next couple shifts later. Holy shit. Then we score a goal, off to the races. Like that little stuff, those little sequences where you got a goalie who's making the big save, who's feeling confident. You're just looking for a guy to do that. And Sammy didn't do it tonight. Let's give Joseph Woll a shot on Monday.
Sorry, Rosie, I don't know if you got, I was giggled a little there. It's not at you or anything you were saying. We got another super chat. Maxentius Decimus, while you're talking about the goaltending, fires another one. Matt Murray, that's the suggestion in the chat here. So I don't know if that gives you a temperature check on where Leafs fans are at right now. Yeah,
they need to check their temperature. they need to check. I mean, I'm jealous to look over at the Boston Bruins, and then you've got Linus Allmark, who we would die to have. He's sitting on the fucking bench tonight. It's just like, oh, that must be nice, you know? And Swayman's in there just standing tall, turning everything aside.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had even a hiccup, it could have been 2-0 Leafs, you know, within the first 10 minutes of the first period, and like dreams start. But it just didn't go that way. So you try to find the formula to make that happen on Monday. I would have no problem going to Woll. It's not like, Sammy, you're getting yanked, you failed. They knew going into this, you know, we're going to switch hit you guys. There is no number one. We're not sure who's going to start. And no one had stepped up and been like, it's my crease. Sammy did for a while there, but kind of tickered off at the last, you know, couple weeks of the season. I have no problem with going to Sammy and just trying to find some magic in the crease, because if you can get like anything short of a bad performance back there, it can give you the platform to go win a hockey game, and that's exactly what they got to do in Boston.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do have a super chat here. Or we did hit 150 likes here as well. So I mean, fuck, gonna do smelling salts again. We're almost at 200 as well. So do the salts. Thanks to everyone watching who's hit the like button. If you haven't yet, hit the like button. But
wakey.
There we go. I'm gonna be up all night, Rosie. The one of the things I was kind of curious about when it came to the response of this team, you saw no William Nylander here tonight. We don't know why he didn't play. I had buddies. I'm not gonna lie to you, Rosie. I had buddies text me being like, "Man, the fuck up. Put your gear on. Like, get on the ice. It's the playoffs." It's like, well, you know what? To an extent, fair enough. But also, we got no idea what's going on there. What do you make of? Obviously, we can't speculate on the injury, so I'm not gonna, or the injury, the illness, whatever it is. I'm not gonna ask you to do that. But what do you make of him missing the game here tonight, just from a Leafs like game plan going forward? How do you kind of handle the power play? Who plays on the power play? The lines, because we didn't score here tonight. You're going to be needing offense. That's a guy who brings you offense. That's a guy who brought you a lot of offense this year. Is it panic time if this guy can't get back quick? Like, what can you say to Leafs fans about the Nylander not playing tonight, and maybe what you do moving forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't say that he's like soft or pulling the shoot. I didn't even realize what kind of like an Iron Man streak he had going on. He's played every game for like ever. It's crazy. He doesn't take days off. He doesn't have maintenance days. This obviously isn't that. It's just typical Leafy things to happen. Oh, what day is it? And what player just came down with some phantom thing where he can't play game one of the goddamn playoffs on April 20th or what? Like, are you kidding me? When Nylander can't play tonight after playing every game all year long, super frustrating. But I mean, I will speculate. The only thing that makes sense to me is he got the flu.
Yeah.
Like, got the flu, and it's like, okay, you're not skating in this bullshit practice in Boston. We are going to fill you full of IVs. We are going to pump you full of vitamins. Go sleep as long as you possibly can. Come back to the training room. We are going to like everything you possibly can. And then they're like, what do we say? Well, he wasn't on the ice. He may or may not play. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. What else would Sheldon Keefe say that would make sense in that scenario? He'd say exactly what he said. And then it's game time, and this guy's like, I'm shitting through a straw. I just threw up. I haven't been able to eat in 36 hours. Like, what are you going to do? Put him in the fucking lineup?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're going to go, well, this is the worst case scenario for him. He's one of your top three players, and he's not in. And yeah, as far as the lineup is concerned, they don't know what to do without William Nylander. They always have William Nylander. So is game one of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Boston Bruins the time to start, figuring stuff out, to start figuring out who takes Willie's place? What does it look like? Who am I playing with again? Because Willie's not here. Again, it's not like he's, only played 68 games. He plays all of them. He's always there. They've never had to sit down and say, what does this look like without Willie, whether it's his line or the peeper or whatever you're looking at. They've never had to do that. So it's totally new and it's totally foreign, and it sure as hell doesn't help. And it wasn't a positive. I don't know what the result could have been if Willie was in. Nobody does, but that sure as hell isn't how you draw it up. And it's not what we wanted, and it's not what we needed. And it contributed to the loss. Absolutely. He's a fantastic, phenomenal hockey player, one of the best on the team. Of course it hurt not having him in the lineup.
All right, last thing I want to ask you before I get you out of here, Rosie. I appreciate you taking the time to do this and hopping on. And I mean, your availability on the post game show is going to be dependent on how many games that are played in the postseason. But hopefully, we see much more of you. I'm curious. I don't know how much you're gonna like answering this, so I apologize in advance. What do you think happens with the lines going forward? Because there was a part of me that just kept being like, please, someone on this first line score. Please, someone on this first line score, so that Sheldon doesn't go into the locker room after the game and say, they didn't score. Mitchie, back to the first line next game. What do you think goes on there?
Yeah, I know. I mean, before the game even started, I was like, I really want to get off to a good start, and I want to win this game one because I don't want TJ Brody being inserted back in the lineup, and I don't want him to break up that first line. And I am terrified that that's exactly what he's going to do. It seems like he's itching to do it for whatever reason. But, Mitchie, like you said, was kind of, a little bit absent in certain ways as far as, his dynamic powerhouse talent level should be, wasn't really there. well, let's get Mitchie fired up and get him back with Austin. I just that line is what a fan. It is the first line of a really good playoff team, a really good hockey team in the NHL is Domi, Bertuzzi, Matthews. Like you cover the gamut. You got the net front, you got the mucking in the corners, you got the digging out the pucks and creating the turnovers. You got the disher, and you got one of the best absolute pure snipers in the world. It's fantastic, and I thought they had their chances and easily could have buried tonight, but I don't want I don't know if I can trust Sheldon Keefe to leave well enough alone. Again, he's going to be looking at that box score. He's going to look at the 5-1 loss, and he's going to want to start pulling triggers, saying, "At least I'm trying. At least I'm doing something to change the outcome of Game 2." And I don't think putting TJ Brody in is the answer. I would not be shocked if he did. I think it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I thought he was the biggest liability that was on the roster, and he was very hesitant to take him out of the lineup for much of the season. And I was very pleased that the lineup card was what it was tonight, minus William Nylander. I would expect Willie would be better, ready to go. I would put heavy money on it that he had the flu. He'll be ready to rock on Monday. And, insert him, maybe switch Joseph Woll, and leave the rest alone.
All right, Rosie. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thank you for hopping on. Is there anything you got left that you wanted to get off your chest, or maybe words of encouragement to Leafs fans to say, you know what, put the bottle down. It'll be okay tonight. Let's have a breather. Go to bed. Wake up tomorrow. The sun's still going to come up. Anything you got before you go?
Hey, dive into the bottle if you want. Whatever you need to do, you do you.
Okay.
But the sky's not falling. This doesn't need to be ripped down to the studs.
Mm-hmm.
It is one game, and the game was a lot better than the scoreboard dictated. So relax, have some trust and faith. Don't be part of the reason why this team does lose their confidence. They shouldn't be shaken right now. They should know what they need to do, and they should have a lot of the energy that they brought to that game one. They need still in game 2. And it very well could be a different result. I think that game could have gone a lot different way. I can't believe I'm looking at the TV right now. It says 5-1. It is a fucking nightmare. It is a disaster, but it is only game 1. You have to chalk it up to that and move on with a lot of the same attitude. And you have to stay positive. You got to get a split in Boston. It's got to happen on Monday. So stick with them, boys. No one fucking freak out. Relax, baby. It's going to be fine. We got game 2.
All right, thank you. There you go. Jay Rosehill hopping on here, the Leafs Nation After Dark, to help us break this one down, talk about everything that went on in this 5-1 loss to open the Leafs series against the Bruins. You can catch him back Monday morning, correct, Rosie? Leafs Morning Take, 11 a.m. There you go.
Always. Every
Make
weekday.
Sure to check that out. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on this channel. It's that easy, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Rosehill, thank you very much for hopping on here tonight.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you again.
See you soon. There you go. Leafs Nation After Dark. Jay Rosehill hopping on here to help us break this one down, give us his insight and opinion on what happened here tonight, and maybe a reason to not lose our minds with what went on, because let's be realistic. I was losing my mind with the way that this one played out. And you know what? I appreciate Rosie's thoughts. I appreciate him calming me down to a degree here. I see a lot of people in the chat. I'm going to answer all the super chats. I'm going to answer all your questions. I've got some final thoughts before we keep going. I've got a grade of the game. I got my play of the game that we'll be discussing here tonight as well. But some of the stuff that I kind of just wanted to go through that Rosie brought up, and there's only so much that I can say about it, especially his experience being in the room, being a professional, having played for this team, played in this market. There's stuff I just can never push back on. Before I get to that quickly, I want to let everybody know we did hit 200 likes here on the stream. If you haven't hit like yet, please continue to hit the like button. But 200 likes, that means our 4th hit of Smelling Salts on the stream here tonight. You get 250, we go 5. You get 300, we go 6. So keep hitting like, but we got 4 here coming up right now. So thanks to everyone who liked the stream. But buzzing here, buzzing on the post game show. Thanks to everyone who's watching and has hit the like button so far. If you haven't subscribed, again, I don't know what you're doing. It takes 2 seconds. Okay, my thoughts that I still want to say that I think I can bridge the gap between maybe Rosie there and you guys as the fans. I don't disagree with the effort and what we saw out of these guys on the ice here tonight. The thing that I can 100% understand why people in the chat, myself included, are extremely frustrated with and start to have a degree of panic set in when you watch this team and watch that result go down tonight is that we have seen this before. So while I don't have an issue with what Rosie's assessment of the game was, I have this development in my brain about this pattern that is set in with the team. And it's not just one game. That's the problem. This is 9 years. And I think that's why we all freak out to the degree that we do. Because we watch them go into these games and we sit there and we open Money Puck and we say, wow, we won the deserve to win a meter. We should have taken this game. You didn't. You lost. Matthews had no goals. Tavares had no goals. Nylander didn't play. Okay, fine. Marner didn't have any goals. No points from those guys. Bunch of dashes across the board for a lot of different players on the team. And you lost 5-1. And so while I can get behind his assessment and the degree of don't panic because you at least played well and we're not freaking out about, hey, they didn't bring it or they didn't want it or whatever. The execution of what happened on the scoreboard wasn't there, and we continue to have this happen as Leafs fans where it's over and over and over again. We just watch this team go out with you beat them on the expected board. Well, you didn't beat them on the scoreboard. And I think that that's where I continue to freak out about, and you guys in the chat continue to freak out about. So, when Rosie tells us, hey, I'm not worried because of the way that they played, that's fair. But us as fans, there is that going to constantly be that element of what the fuck is going on? And did we not see this last year and for the last 8 years? So fair enough. We've got a bunch of super chats. I was not ignoring them. I just think it's important for you guys to get to hear from someone like Rosie, especially in a situation like this. And especially after you listen to me absolutely lose my mind for 10 straight minutes before Rosie came on. Let's get to these super chats here now. All right, first super chat. Max Entius Decimus. Max just says, this is the year 1967. Question mark. Maybe that's what they said in 1967, Max. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Another super chat here. Let's get to. Another super chat from Max, that is. Max says, here we go as Leafs fans coping with losing. Max, I'm with you, buddy. I can't really oppose it. I love getting to hear perspectives from other people about what went on, but at the end of the day, it's the loss. It's 5-1. It fucking sucks. You know how excited people were to go into this one, and everyone that I know who's not a Leafs fan or analysts of other teams just kept being like, you're really going to get excited again? Like, this team, they're going to rip away that hope. They're going to break your heart again. And I just kept saying, like, no, this year it feels different. And they said, no, you say that every year. This year felt different. It felt different. And you go in and you lose the game. It's like, is it different? Right? No matter what you think about how they played or what they deserved, it's a 5-1 loss in Boston on the road to start game one, and you're behind chasing in the series. And that fucking sucks. That's always going to suck. There's no getting around that. That sucks. And you have a right to be pissed off about that. Maybe saying Matt Murray is going to be the guy is a bit aggressive, but like, it sucks. I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody because I'm pissed off here too. I'm not happy about what's going on and how this result came to be. It's really, really frustrating. It's miracle on ice again. It's fair. It's fair. Another super chat that we got here Failed senses. I don't know if you're a first-time super chatter here or first-time super chatter that I've seen, but if regardless, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciated as always. For those in the chat wondering as well, I'm never going to ask you guys to send these super chats. It's not mandatory to send super chats to have comments read or anything like that, but I love participating with the chat. I love reading your stuff. I like hearing your opinions, what you guys think, if you're happy, sad, what you feel. I want to be part of that, and I want you guys to be incorporated, and I try to read the chat as much as possible. There's just times where you guys are ripping, whether you're fighting each other, if you're fighting me, if you're pissed off at Nick or Rosie or whatever it is, you guys will start buzzing, and then I can't keep up. I will read every single super chat. That's a guarantee. The show will not end until the super chats have all been read. So I will promise you that. That's the one thing that will always be done. Whether you have questions, opinions, or you just want to tell me how much of an idiot I am because of some opinion that I had, that's fine. Send it in the chat. I will always read the super chat. So if you're new to the show, thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button. We're almost at 250 likes. You're 2 away. So, I mean, there's enough people watching to hit that 250. Hit the like button. Let's get there. We'll do some more smelling salts. 5th time for the stream tonight. We could easily have 6, 7. Why not? Why not us? We got more super chats. Let's keep reading. Failed senses. It's now 8 straight playoff games where they have scored 2 or less goals. Guess that's what 45 million gets us. Failed senses, I'm with you, brother. This is where I'm at when it comes to the post-game reaction and why I came in so hot. Talk about the play, talk about the bounces going your way. I get it. Yeah, we outplayed them on paper, and it visually looked like it was there as well. From basically 5 to 7 minutes of the first period, I was frustrated. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, they didn't come to play. They're out to lunch. This is not going to go well. This is not going to be good for this team tonight. It ended up on paper and on the scoreboard not being good. It ended up not being the result that you would have liked going into this one. But I do think that it turned around in terms of level of play at the end of the first period. The second period just sucked. Like, that sucked to watch just because of everything that was going on, where it was like every opportunity Boston had, no matter how marginal, it ended up in the back of the net. That was tough to handle. That was tough to get over. But again, like, another pushback that I kind of had on Rosie, and he calmed it down to an extent there, was just like, when do these guys just score? Because why do I have to have conversations with my buddies and people who are fans of other teams and say, like, well, they created the chances. Well, the chances don't win you fucking playoff series, because unless it goes in the back of the net and you score more goals than the other team, it never matters. That's what we're dealing with here again. Like, maybe this is just one game. Maybe it turns around in game 2 and we can get over this and we can push forward and things will be different. But that being said, it wasn't here tonight. This is just the same thing every single day. We're living Groundhog Day with this team when it comes to the playoffs. Played well, created chances, puck didn't go in the net. You know how many goals Austin Matthews had tonight? 0. Mitch Marner? 0. John Tavares? 0. Your one goal came from David fucking Kampf. No disrespect. I like him as a player, but that's the guy who scored you the goal here tonight. It's just not going to be good enough in the long term. And that's where the frustration to me kicks in. DeBrusk, 2 goals for the Bruins. Trent Frederick, a goal. Shocker. These are like Bruins playoff guys, right? Brandon Carlo, okay, there you go. Off the board one there. Beecher, goal there. Okay. Like, what am I going to do? Like, Beecher and Carlo. That's fine. You're going to get contributions from other guys, but you also had here Marchand, 2 assists. Pastrnak, an assist. DeBrusk had a 3-point night. Like, they're important players were involved. They creating chances, had shots on goal. That's where I look over at the Leafs team. And yeah, I know that, I mean, I'm just reading box scores. It's not like I'm doing something that nobody else can do right now, but Matthews, 5 shots on goal. Tavares, 6 shots on goal. Yeah, they got chances, and those guys, Marner, Tavares, they come away even on the night, no plus, no minus. It just still is, it's just still like, go caveman a little bit here for a second. Did the puck go in the net? And I know how stupid that is on most occasions, but it's the same thing year after year after year. We're going to have Nick on, I think, in the next post game on Monday night. Hopefully this one goes differently, but like, I'm sure Nick would share at least somewhat of the same perspective of how often do we come on and talk about these games then right after the game or the morning after, and the conversation is like, created chances, didn't score. Created chances, lost 2-1. So at some point, put the puck in the net, boys. I don't give a fuck. Score more goals than the other team. More super chats here. Let's keep it moving. Next super chat here on the night. Michael, all the way from Hong Kong. Look, we're talking about a diverse crowd. If you're in the chat right now and I don't know, where are you watching from? Where are you a Leafs fan from? Send it in the chat right now. We'll try to keep things going here and end these get through the super chats. I got a play of the game and a grade of the game coming up as well, but we'll keep going and get through the super chats here as well. So send in the chat. I'm curious. Where are you guys watching from? Where are you guys watching from all over the world? Hong Kong. Michael. Super chat. Thank you. Michael says, although I bet heavily they lost, however, didn't expect it to be this ugly. I believe they tried their very best. I hope all of us give them the best support they are. However, it's it's the same 7 years old, same issue 7 years. Yeah, like that's the issue that I see with this team and how things have continued to go. Michael, I bet on the Leafs tonight, buddy. Should have listened to you. You told me before. I'm betting against the Leafs. I should have known you were going to bet against the Leafs tonight. I should have bet against the Leafs tonight. Or at least just not bet on the Leafs tonight. We saw Nylander's out. All this money comes in on Boston. I thought that's too far. This Leafs team, they're too good. They got heart. They got character and attitude and grit. Whoops. Lost the bet. Lost the money. That's tough. You hate to see that. You really do. But if you're going to be losing money, you should be doing it responsibly. And if you're going to be betting on these games, obviously you're still doing it responsibly, but you should be doing it at Bet365. I mean, what better place to do it than at Bet365? You want to talk about a sports book to head to here. I'm thrilled to welcome Bet365's Leafs Nation After Dark sports betting partner just in time for the 2024 playoffs. We'll be here with Bet365 to provide you all the news, analysis, lines, and betting options for the playoffs. Bet365 is the largest sports betting platform globally. You can open an account at Bet365 with Bet365 today and use promo code TLN bonus to bet on a huge range of markets. Look, guys, I've been betting for a long time. Basically the day I turned legal, I started betting. Don't tell my parents. I think they might be watching, but turn it on. I open up the app. I downloaded Bet365 and I said, I'm in. I'm going to start betting on sports. I know hockey. I know sports. I'm going to start betting. Bet365, it's where I started. It's easy to use. They've got tons of options. You're looking for different period markets. You're looking for alt lines. You're looking for alt totals. You want a same game parlay. You want player props. You want points, assists, shots on goal. That's the place to be doing it. Head on over to Bet365. Like, I've been using this for so long, I've almost memorized the catalog of bets they've got like the back of my hand. I could flip through that thing. I could tell you where it is. I could tell you how to get there. I'm telling you what tabs to go to, how far to scroll on the screen. It's that good. It's that easy to use, and it's that nice of an interface. If you're going to be betting anywhere, it should be at Bet365, so make sure to check it out. Use promo code TLN bonus to bet on a huge range of markets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, so make sure to sign up there. That being said, again, I appreciate you, Bet365. You are easy to use. We lost our Bertuzzi bet tonight. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry, chat. I thought it was a good bet. I thought it was a good number. I consulted some smart people I know. I consulted some other NHL bettors that I know, and I was thinking, this Bertuzzi number, this is the right number for the regular season. This is the number that you want to look at when it's game 65 of the regular season and he's playing with Matthews. That's fair. Plus 300, that's fair. We can look at that number and I'll pass. I'll say that's about right. I'm not going to touch it. When it comes to the playoffs, this guy was brought here to be a playoff player. This guy was a playoff performer. This is the impact that he's supposed to be having on the team. And I'm not faulting him here tonight. This is me who made the bet and we lost. Bertuzzi doesn't score. We lose a half unit on Tyler Bertuzzi, anytime goal scorer here at plus 300. It's unfortunate. I stand by the fact that it was a good bet. This guy's a playoff guy playing on that first line. He's going to get chances. He got a couple of chances tonight. He was around the front of the net. He was sniffing it. Finishes tonight with 2 shots on goal. Like, he was involved. It just didn't go in the back of the net for him. I feel like there was a couple of good opportunities, but just didn't go his way. Didn't go our way. I apologize. We lost that one. We lose the bet. We lose the game. But Michael, he won his bet. He bet against the Leafs. Congratulations, Michael, on your bet. I'm sorry to everyone in the chat. I'm sorry to everyone who watched the game preview. We lost the Bertuzzi bet. It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. I'm having to deal with this one myself, but Tyler Bertuzzi, it doesn't end well. But Bet365, there's no place I'd rather be betting it at. Keep it going. A couple more super chats that I want to get to before we can finish this stream here tonight. A few things that I want to read out. Next super chat, good friend of the show, Maxentius Decimus. Max, again, thank you for the super chat. Max says, making the Leafs win the cup is reinventing the wheel. I know there's a super chat here that comes in after from Max, so we'll keep going here, but I won't give too much of a reaction to some of these because I know it's coming later. I saw it. I'm sure you guys who were watching in the chat saw it as well. Also, 30 likes away here. 30 likes away from 300 on the stream. Let's keep hitting the like button. We'll at least get one more smelling salts in before we leave and before we finish this one tonight. So keep hitting the like button. But yeah, making the Leafs win the cup is reinventing the wheel. Max, you know what? You have enough adult pops with your buddies. You sitting around in the living room watching hockey for long enough. You and your buddies might just reinvent the wheel yourself. So, hey, maybe it's not impossible. Keep it moving. Another super chat. Max, again, thank you. Max says, Dune 2, greater than Leafs hockey, parentheses, and cheaper. You know what, Max? Disagree. The emotions that I felt about this team leading into the game tonight, the emotions I felt watching the game tonight, you ask my roommate, he probably thinks I'm a psychopath. You ask the person who lives above me, they probably think I am a psychopath, and I gave everyone fair warning. When it comes to playoff hockey, it's just different. I don't care if it's the Leafs, I don't care if it's other teams that I'm watching. Playoff hockey is just different, and there is no emotion felt other like what you feel when you're watching playoff hockey, specifically Leafs playoff hockey. I mean, come on, like when it comes to feeling the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, this team will give it to you every single time. So shout out to the Maple Leafs, but Dune, no, not greater than Leafs hockey. I disagree, Max. Another super chat. All right, Max again. Max, thank you. Come on, Leafs fans, stop crying. This is the year. Max, thank you for the positivity. I hope so. But I think we can be realistic about what the hell went on here tonight and why we're all fighting our own inner demons about the results of this game tonight. Tough one, frustrating one. We keep it moving. We bounce back. Another super chat. Max, again, thank you, Max. Always thank you. Max says, I drank too much. Please stop reading mine. Well, we got one more for you here, buddy. I got to read it again. Another super chat from Max. Thank you very much. Max says, We need to learn more lessons to win. Max, blocked. Nick, if you're watching right now, get this guy out of here. Blocked. No more lessons. Thank you for the super chat, Max. No more lessons. Watching from St. Kitts. Appreciate it. No more lessons. Done with the lessons. Another super chat, final one here that I see, and then we'll get out of here with our couple closing segments before we finish this one off. Next one here on the list. My guy Phenom. Appreciate it, Phenom. He says, real life caused me to miss the game and most of the stream, but being able to hang with Zack and the Leafs Nation and best hockey fans on YouTube makes everything okay. Phenom, thank you. Hope all is well. As far as the game goes, I mean, if you want to watch it back, maybe watch it back in like 2, 3, 4x speed so you can get through it, maybe see the important parts, but watch the stream back. We don't mind that. We're not going to complain about that ever if you watch the stream yet again. So yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you guys enjoy hanging out here. For everyone who was new to the stream here tonight, for anyone who's finding this channel or the podcast or whatever for the first time, thank you guys so much for hopping in here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of it. If you're watching right now for the first time live and you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on this channel because you don't know me or what I'm saying on the screen or why there's a chat, look, this is a post-game show. That's why it's after dark and it's raw emotion. I come on here and I talk about what happened right after it happened. I'm not an expert. I didn't play pro hockey. I am relatively young, as I'm sure you guys can tell or are wondering, but I've been watching for a long time. I've been around the game for a long time, and I love the game. I love hockey. I love breaking things down, and I love engaging with the chat. So we just come on here, talk about what happened, and read the chats, take callers, hear about people's opinions, and try to break these down. I am a fan first. That is who I am. That is what I am, and that's what this show is. So that's what we come on here to do, and that's why you guys are so important and involved in the show to me and in my opinion. So thank you guys very much. That's why you're on the screen. That's why we got the chat on the screen. Thank you guys. I appreciate you, Phenom, for the super chat. Another super chat here. Max, super chats cheaper than my bar tab. Max, you must be having yourself a night, and for that, I am happy for you. So thank you very much. And another one, but it's the same super chat, so keep it moving. Super chats cheaper than my bar tab. Thank you, Max. Appreciate the super chats there here tonight. Appreciate everyone who's watching. Appreciate everyone who liked, subscribed. I know I probably thanked you guys a lot, but regardless, most concurrent viewers I've ever had for myself. Pretty cool moment here tonight. Obviously, Rosie here gives me a bump. I'm not going to take full credit for it. Like, let's be realistic, and we're going to continue to do that and bring you guys some pretty cool guests. Nick coming up later this week. At some point, we will have, I imagine Carter Hutton will come on. Anthony Stewart will come on. These guys will help us break things down. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not an idiot. I know you're not here solely for me. Keep hitting the like. We're 17 away from one more smelling salt before we get out of here. We got 2 things to get to. I'm going to try to upgrade some of these animations. Some of them were just, I didn't realize, but we got a play of the game and a grade of the game. So if you're new to them, you'll figure it out very quickly. It's not that hard. If you are new to the channel, participate in the chat. I want to see what you guys have to say in the chat. So I want you to be involved. Let's get to, first and foremost, our play of the game. If we can get to that here, if it's going to play. There we go. All right, play of the game. Cool animations, no? We come on here for the first time, and we're popping out cool animations, new graphics, all this stuff. I messed up trying to switch it over. That's on me. Let's call it what it is. But we got there. Play of the game. 6 1/3 says final buzzer. Play of the game here tonight. Wow, tough one. Okay, we're grinding a little bit. I'm going to say the play of the game is going to be the Dewar pass to Kampf into the empty net. It's a minute 39 into the third period. You're down 4 goals. You feel like you're dead. The fans feel like they're dead. It just feels like we've been murdered. We had all this hope. I was so pumped up. I went out on the golf course in a blizzard wearing a Leafs jacket today. Like, this was... I could not... You would have thought I was playing in the game, the level of excitement that I had. I'm listening to AC/DC, TNT, Thunderstruck, Eye of the Tiger, sitting in my room, putting together the pregame, putting together the thumbnails, ready to run through a wall. I've got this stuff playing. My roommate's there wondering what the fuck is wrong with me. I have no involvement in the game. I'm just doing a post-game show, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And then we lose 5-1. It's tough. Robert Smith, holy shit, Zach, you an AC/DC fan? In fact, I am, Robert. You ever want to run through a wall or lift the most amount of weight you've ever lifted in the gym? Fire on some Thunderstruck or Hell's Bells, and just that'll get you going. Noise cancellation, full pin, smelling salts, a little bit of pre-workout. Next thing you know, you're maxing out the weights in the gym. Anyways, play of the game is the Dewar pass to David Kampf. The fourth line was buzzing tonight. Again, I was talking to my buddy. He's texting me, and he's like, this fourth line is rocking, probably getting a little bit too much playing time, which I agree and disagree with him, because part of it is they were getting shoot to thrill. Nice, good call. They were getting a lot of playing time, which is going to be hard to match up against Boston when you're going to be looking at, like, you know, some of their top lines. You don't really want to get them exposed to that for too long or too much. But they deserve the ice time, man. Those guys were working their bag off. They were creating momentum shifts. They were winning battles. They were able to sustain pressure in the offensive zone for periods of time. And they scored your only goal here tonight. Like, they scored the only goal. And it was a pretty nice goal. It's offensive zone pressure that creates a turnover, and it's a nice backhand pass to David Kampf in the slot that you score an empty netter on. Or empty netter, right? You know what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Chat, also, I appreciate you guys. I already have majority of these in my workout playlist, but J Figs, Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses, yep, it's in there. Metallica, Enter Sandman, yep, it's in there. Bangers. Comments in the chat, comments in the post game. I want, after the game, drop your comments in there. I want to read them. I want to see what you guys also have to fire into there. The Osmonds, better than AC/DC. Okay, Peter. That's my play of the game. The other one that I want to give it to is Ilya Samsonov. It was in the second period. The Bruins get a pass across to Trent Frederick, who tries to make the backdoor tap in. It was a nice save-ish by Samsonov. It kind of hit the leg and bounced, so it wasn't clean by Frederick. Nonetheless, Samsonov got across, and he was in good positioning to make the save on that one. He was there. He read it. He moved across well, and he was just kind of strong on the post. He was strong in his legs. He gets down and is able to hold the fort. That was one of the things that was most impressive. He wasn't leaky there. He makes a couple of saves on those in tight while the puck's bouncing around in front of the net. Isn't getting up, isn't trying to scramble and find the puck. He just holds it down and doesn't let anything happen, doesn't let anything squeak through. And regardless of what you think, that's pretty important. Like, it doesn't help after the fact, but in that position, it's pretty important. That's an honorable mention. I just wanted to shout it out. Before I can get to the grade of the game, we've got some more super chats, so I want to make sure everyone gets theirs read. Let's get to these before we get to grades of the game. First super chat, our guy popping in here, Jeff McKay. Jeff, thank you for the super chat. Jeff says, boo to this team. My only hope for this is they lose and they finally get rid of Keefe. Well, Jeff, I mean, like, look, let's just go back to the big picture of this. One of the reasons I was like, okay, whatever, it is what it is because I think that this series ultimately comes down to the core four. Can you and will you get it done? Will you score goals? Will you outplay the opposition? Will you take it to them? Will you bring intensity? Will you bring pressure? Are you going to be able to do all of that? The other guys that I think True Living brought in here are playoff performers. I think that they can be improved upon, but I think if you lose this series, it's not on him, and it's not on those guys that you brought in. Look at what happens here tonight. Did Matthews, Marner, Nylander didn't play, so obviously not. Riley, Tavares, did they get in on the score sheet? Did they make an impact offensively? You can debate it all you'd like, but reality is when you look at the stats and you look at the box score after, they're not on there. So you're going to learn a lot about who these guys are as people and as characters, and that might be very telling, and it might lead us to a position where you finally get rid of Keefe and Shanahan's gone and the operation changes and the outlook on the team changes. The one guy that I would still be really happy to keep around is for sure Brad Treliving, because I liked the moves that were made in the offseason. I'm pretty happy with them. I don't think he's going to be the reason that this team loses. It's always going to come down to the core four. We can make as many excuses around them as you'd like, but it's always going to come down to them. We got more super chats. Quickly before we go, before I go to the next one, I want to remind people, 11 likes away from 300 on the stream. I don't know if I've ever hit 300 likes in one single stream before. Let's get 11 more. Every now and then, I'm happy to be a sicko for you guys in the chat as long as you're going to show support. You get it to this thing to 300 likes today before we get off. We're doing smelling salts. We're doing smelling salts to clean this thing up and get out of here. 11 more likes. Another super chat. Super chat from the man himself again, Max Entius Decimus. Max, thank you. I'm going to have to check this song. It's a song suggestion for those of you in the chat. Soccer Mommy Bloodstream. Let that 90s emo out. Max, thank you for the super chat. I'll have to check it out. I see a lot of you in the chat absolutely ripping some suggestions here as well. You guys are trying to get me to do salts a lot more here. Oh my God, these playoffs might kill me, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to keep hitting this. We're going to keep doing that. Oh God. Aiden Simpson play the games when Zack went out in a blizzard. Thank you. Yep. Accidental golf blizzard happens, but you know what? That's the grit that I've got. That's the heart that I've got. Booked the tea time. We said we could pack it in. I could sit at home in the warmth. I could hang out today. Maybe, I went to the gym when I got home from the golf course too. So there you go. Mix that in there. We got a game preview in. We're doing blizzard. We're going out and golfing in the blizzard. I'm absolutely ripping drives like you've never seen. I can't even see. That's the heart that it takes. That's how cool. That's how much I wanted to run through a wall today. 5 more likes till we get to 300. Oh my God, you guys are buzzing. 7 Nation Army. There we go. 5 more likes. Last thing, don't have an animation for it, so just gonna be honest there. Grade of the game. This is the final segment that we do here on the show. We just wrap up by breaking down what happened with a grade, an elementary school grade. A, B, C, D, E, F. We've got a lot of Fs. Won't lie to you. We've got a lot of Fs in the past. 4 more likes too. Keep clicking the like button. My grade tonight is a weird one. When I got on the stream, I probably would have gone F. When I opened the show, I was probably still at F. 5 minutes, 10 minutes in, still at F. Rosie came on, changed it a little bit, okay? I'm not going to pretend like Rosie flipped the script on me and made this like, hey, we're going to win. Because that one, it's concerning. And what I've seen in the past, it's been concerning. It hasn't been something that's led me to a position of like, hey, we're going to turn this around because this team is different. I agree that the energy was there. I agree that they tried and they were involved in a lot of it. But again, it felt so much like what we've seen in years past where we say, you deserve to win. You didn't score more than the other team. You didn't score as much as the other team. If you don't do that, what does it matter? If you don't do that, what are we doing? You know, because if you do that for 4 straight games and you lose 4 straight games and John Tavares comes out and says, we learned lessons. I'm going to come on here and I'm going to explode. My brain will turn into spaghetti noodles and my skull will just pop open live on camera for all of you to see if I hear that again. And I hope Nick comes on that show because I think his might do it as well and it just might be simultaneous. And then that's it. Like if I have to do that again and I hear lessons and all this stuff, like it's going to kill me. It's going to kill me, guys. So Mike Batson bringing up, we did not score, but we didn't get pushed around. Agreed. There's a positive to take away. Part of it is like the Bruins hit a lot of posts. So you could have been down worse. This one feels like it could have been much worse for you tonight. Samsonov, 826 save percentage. Let me double check that. I think it was 826. Yep, 826 save percentage. 4 goals against, 19 saves. Not good enough. Penalty kill. 3 for 5. Not good enough. It's okay, but like when your power play goes 0 for 3 on the other end, not good enough. Penalty minutes, 12. Keefe, carelessness, talking about discipline issues. Sheldon, I don't think that that's the reason that this one went sideways on you tonight, brother. Sorry, notification popped up about the team. Giveaways, 12-9. It just felt like you were careless with the puck. You didn't take care of the puck enough. There was a lot of bad along with some of the good that Rosie brought up. Not getting pushed around, that's fine. I like that. I'm happy about that. But there's a lot more that we need from this team. I wanted a lot more. I wanted a lot more likes. We got a lot more likes. We're at 300 on the stream. My grade tonight, by the way, it's a D. I was at an F. Rosie got me to a D. It's a D. Part of it is, and I see Phenom saying, it's your show. You're kissing Rosie's ass. You change your mind so quick when Rosie come on. Be a man and stand your ground. Lost some respect for you tonight. Phenom, you can always learn from other people and learn from other people's experiences. I disagree with some of the stuff that Rosie said, but I do think that there's a lot of truth to what it was talked about. I think that there's a lot that can be said for Leafs fans to take away from what was talked about. I think that what we heard from other people, or what we heard from you guys in the chat, how I felt traditionally about the team, it led me to a point of frustration. But another thing that he's right about that we have to take into consideration moving forward is it's one game. And in theory, you could win every single game the rest of the way. You could win 16 straight games after tonight. I don't think it's going to happen, let's be real, but it can happen. This tonight does not mean that you can't turn this around in game 2 or going forward. So while I came on here and it's doomsday and there's still a lot of concern that I have, there's reason for me to take away from what Rosie said and feel like, okay, you know what? Let's not just go full, panic mode. Let's not go to that point. D is my grade for the night. Last super chat here. Again, my guy Max Entius Decimus. I'm not even sure if this, I don't even know if I get this, Max. I'm not going to lie. Marner farting paid for my salary of me caring. I appreciate the super chat. I don't know what you want me to say to that one. 300 likes. Let's hit let's hit the smelling salts on the stream here tonight. Thank you so much for doing this. We had 900 concurrent watching. That was pretty sick. We got a ton of super chats. We had Rosie hop in and give his opinion on tonight's game. There you go. Comment in the chat. I think this is something, if anybody's going to take away from tonight, Zachary Pollock in the chat. Just a little setback. The boys will get the job done. There you go. If you're going to listen to anyone else, maybe someone else with the same name as me, we're good. Maybe. I still have concerns. Let's hit the smelling salts. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Oh. There you go. Oh my God. Final smelling salts, 6 on the stream tonight. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in. New graphics. Let us know in the comments after the fact. What did you think about what you saw on screen? Is there anything you liked, disliked? Let us know. I think this is pretty sick. Like, this looks good. This is better than anything I could ever do. This is better than anything I ever did. So shout out to the people at the Nation Network. Shout out to the team at the Leafs Nation as well. If you're not already, subscribe here to the channel. If you haven't already, go over to nationgear.ca. Get your exclusive Bleed Blue merch to get you ready for the rest of the playoffs. Who knows how long they'll be, but regardless, one way or another, you should be rocking your Nation Gear merch. I got my LeafsNation.com gear on right now. Make sure to head on over there. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in here tonight. Long stream tonight, but well worth it. You guys were buzzing. We were buzzing. This has been game number 1. Game number 1, guys. We don't need to panic quite yet. Game number 1 of the Toronto Maple Leafs first round series of the 2023-2024 NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, showing support, watching, subscribing, liking the stream, liking the channel, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't already, make sure you do so. Game number 1, Leafs drop this one 5-1 to the Boston Bruins, moving to 0-1 on the series and causing panic in Leafs fans everywhere. That'll do it for me for the stream tonight. We'll see you guys back here again Monday night following game 2 for another post-game breakdown. And panic? Excitement? Who knows? We see you Monday after the game. Keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications